Hello, gorgeous souls. How are you today? So let us pray that the internet gods are here today with us and that the signal is all okay. I should be getting Wi-Fi in a couple of days' time at the new house. Hallelujah. I cannot wait. Just so I can do things not from a cupboard room. So if and when you're jumping on this podcast episode with me today, please do say hello. Drop me your favourite emoji in the comments. If and when you're catching me on replay here on Facebook, then please do hashtag replay. If you're a first-time listener here on Facebook, then let me know whereabouts in the world you are tuning in from. It would be amazing to welcome you to my channel. And if you are listening over on the podcast, thank you for subscribing and listening to this podcast today. And also, if you are over on YouTube, you're catching the replay and the video of this, make sure if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Get yourself subscribed. I drop a new podcast episode every single week here on the channel and over on my podcast platform and on socials. So the best thing to do is to subscribe everywhere. So subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube so you don't miss a thing. There's also some vlog content over on YouTube as well. And then follow me on the socials because that's where I tend to hang out. So I'm on Facebook and I'm also on Instagram. So episode 8 is all about where I felt stuck in my business. Even though I knew what to do, even though I'd done it before, even though I had made money in my business, even though I'd invested in business coaches, business courses, about strategy, about how to create content, all the things, even though I knew it all, why did my business still feel stuck? Excuse me. And if you are listening to this and you have an online business or you are rebuilding your business, let me just get rid of that call. If you are rebuilding your business and you feel like you're doing certain things towards your business and you keep looking left and right of which strategy to do and you're not sure what strategy it is that you need to implement, I want to remind you that you know enough. You know enough. You've invested in enough courses. You've invested in business mentorship. You know what to do. The work now is inner work for you. And it's looking at actually like your foundations of what you think about yourself, what you believe about yourself, and the story that you are telling yourself. And it's doing the identity work. So I want to delve into a little bit of my experience and my story with this because as I wrote on my previous post a few years ago, and I've been talking about this for the last few weeks. So like I said, if you're over on my socials, go and read some of my stories on my socials at the moment. But with me, with my business, it was flowing and it was fun and it was vibes 2 or 3 years ago. And I'd had this flow of momentum and results and money flowing in. I was working with women and clients from all over the world. People were just finding me online. They were signing up to work in my programs with me, one-to-one with me, and I was having an amazing time. I loved it. I love coaching. I love this industry. I think it's amazing. And then life hit me. So it's about the beginning of 2022. Life happened and I found myself in a situation where I was experiencing like huge emotional strain. And my life was pretty, as a single mum with 3 kids, you know, my life was pretty hectic at that time anyway. But I'd got additional stress on top of that as well as running my business. And the emotional impact that that had on me literally took me off my feet. And I started to find in 2022 that I was finding it harder and harder to just show up, be visible, to implement strategy, to show up for my business. And I would try and show up in like full capacity me, but I really struggled to do so. And so I started to be inconsistent with my content. I started to be inconsistent with my offers. I felt like I couldn't hold the coaching containers that I had been doing. I'd done a lot of programs live. I had got a membership at the time, but in terms of the emotional strain and the impact that I experienced at that time, literally, I just wanted to hide. That's all I wanted to do. And it meant that over the course of that year, my income started to just dwindle. And it didn't matter how much I could see it dropping. It didn't matter what I did that year. Nothing seemed to build it back up. Nothing seemed to like have an impact on it. And the reason that my income wouldn't or couldn't grow at that time is because of how I was leading myself and the identity that I had, and because of the emotional upset and strain that I was under and how I'd allowed that to really impact me. It meant that I just couldn't hold it anymore. And as my income dropped, it meant that as a single mum at home with 3 kids, I had to go out and look for a job. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a job. That's the first thing I want to say. However, if you have had your own business before, if you have worked for yourself, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are passionate about business, if you love working for yourself, and that is a really strong value for you, and also if you don't like being told what to do, like myself, then working for yourself is the ultimate experience of freedom. I love working for me and I don't particularly enjoy working for anyone else, especially because I've worked so hard over the years on myself, on my skill set, and having that free time, as in freedom of deciding what I do with my time, when I do whatever I do with my time, how I invest my time, you know, the income that can be created from working for yourself, and how you can be sort of limited and capped when you're in a job. When you've had that experience of having your own business and you have to go back to working for someone else, that can impact you on a much deeper level than we realise. And when I had to look for a job at the time, because I was under so much stress and emotionally I was just hurting, I looked for a job where I could just earn money and come home. I didn't want to have to think about the job. I didn't want anything that had too much responsibility. I just thought, I just need money to pay the bills. And so I will just take whatever job right now because I've checked out. And so I got a job, and it was a good job. It was a nice job. The staff were amazing. And it served a purpose at the time. But what I found was that as I was in the job, and as I started to feel better in myself, as I started to heal, I then experienced feeling shame. And I would sit there behind my desk at the time and I would do the tasks that I found too easy. I wasn't challenged enough. And I thought to myself, I know that I'm capable of more than this. But I was in that gap between needing the financial stability, having the kids at home and it just being me responsible for all the finances. Like, I had to have that foundational income coming in. And I also felt ready for more challenge, and I felt ready to get back into business. And so I started to like touch back in with my business. I never fully let it go, but I started to be more intentional with different business ideas and think about actually what is it that I really want to do moving forward. And I started to play around with business, and I started to get my confidence back. And then the job became one where I just thought, I want to do a job that challenges me more. Maybe it's time that I look for a role where I'm in more of a managerial position, a creative position. You know, I'm out there, I'm challenged. And so I pivoted from that job to another job. And the new job was more hours, more commitment. It was more of a challenge. But I found that the environment just did not suit me at all. And I thought, well, I've tried this, and I'd still got that niggle of, I know I'm capable of more than this, and I'm also doing this job, I'm getting paid whatever income it was at the time, I'm working like so many hours while also trying to work my business on the outskirts of that job. I was absolutely exhausted from doing both. And still, the money that I had coming in from that job just paid the bills. There was no life money outside of the just paying the bills, even though I was working like really hard. And I thought, if I just now, because now I'm like in a better place in myself, if I put all of this energy and all of this attention now on me and my business, and I work on getting my foundation solid, then I can start to build my business again. And I'm going to lead myself this time. I'm going to make sure that my foundations are right. I'm going to do the inner work on me. I'm going to make sure my environment's right. I'm going to make sure the people in my life are the right people who love me, who support me, who align with my values, with what I want. And I started to take all these steps in a completely different path to work in the job. And it meant that 18 months ago, I made the decision to leave the job, to say goodbye, and to just focus on me and my business. It was the best decision I could have ever made. And what I realised that when it comes to rebuilding ourselves and when it comes to rebuilding our business and creating that income, starting with that foundational income, the one that just takes the stress away, it's not about looking at what's the best strategy. If you've been in business before, and I've had so many phone calls while I've been doing this podcast, if you have been in business before, you've invested in business coaches, you've done the courses, you've done the things, you know what to do. My son keeps calling me now. You know what to do. It's about creating community, connection, building trust again, building authority. Like, how do you want to communicate with people? What is it that you want to offer? What is it that you do? What are you passionate about? And, you know, all of those basic things are still the same. You know, you can package it up in all different things. Strategy-wise, there's loads of different strategies out there. And there's not just one strategy that works in business. There are so many different ones. It's which one do you want to do for your business? Which one do you want to implement? And the main thing is, are you being the person who does the things to make the business work? And this was the biggest shift for me. It wasn't about, can I do business because I can? And it's the same for you. You are capable of more. That's why you feel frustrated. You are capable of doing more. You are capable of rebuilding your business. But it's not a case of just rebuilding the business. It's about you rebuilding you, the person behind the business, the person leading the business. And there will be elements of the business that you've done before that you want to bring forward with you. And there are going to be parts of it that you want to leave behind. And it all depends on, you know, what type of life that you want to have, what type of income that you want, you know, the time that you want to have, the structure that you want to create. And when you are rebuilding, it's looking at, like I said, you creating that foundation of becoming the woman who leads the business that you ultimately know that you're capable of building. And it's this that I want to talk about in my upcoming masterclass, the identity gap. Because at the moment, if you're not where you want to be, there's a gap between where you are right now and the woman who is capable of creating the vision that you have and building the business that you have. And what I want to do is show you how you can shorten that gap and become that person now. Because it's not about, you know, you'll be happy when, or it's not about, well, I'll be able to do whatever it is for my business in the future. It's what we do today. And the identity gap is helping you to really see, like, where actually and what it is that you need to work on in order for you to close that gap so that you start to become the woman who leads yourself and your business. Because when you do, this is where the results start to compound. This is how you grow your income. This is how you start to scale your business. This is how you start to develop recurring income in your business. And this is what I want to help you with, because I ultimately know that your deep, deep down goal is stability and freedom in your life and in your business. You haven't invested in all the things previously, in all the strategy, in all the skill set that you now have, just to sit there thinking about it. I know that you have like a million ideas in your head. I know that you think about it a lot of the time. And I also know that a lot of the time in your mind, you have this thing where it's like, I should be further along by now. You look at other people out there that are either in the same industry or that have been building a business either the same amount of time as you or less time than you, and they're maybe further along than you. And you look at yourself and you just go, if I'd have just done this, I should be doing more, I should be earning more, I should be in a different place. That has to change. That constant cycle of shame gets us nowhere. You know, feeling like a failure when we've had to go back to a job and holding on to that story of, I've failed, Like, imagine like dragging that along, because literally that's what we're doing. When we've got that strapped to our back, like constantly thinking about it or being in that energy, it's like we are just moving forward with freedom saddled up on our backs, and it's heavy. So in the Identity Gap Masterclass that I'm hosting on the 30th of March 2026, the link to register is in my bio. I want to talk to you about how you can rebuild your life and your business moving forward. I'm going to be talking about like a little bit more about like my story inside of that masterclass. But the main thing is I want you to really identify what it is that's keeping you stuck and like what is stopping you from really stepping into and owning the identity of the woman that leads the business that you know you're capable of being. Simple things like being visible on social media, showing up consistently, hosting, like doing live videos or hosting a podcast, or, you know, whatever it is that requires you to market your business. Rather than you just thinking about it, it's like, let's get you actioning it. When it comes to your offers, have you got a clear offer? Are you driving people to those offers? Like, if you are in that state of like not fully owning the identity of the woman that makes it happen, you're going to have inconsistent income. You're not going to have recurring income. You're going to be confident one minute and you're going to be like, right, I'm going to do this. I'm making this happen. Let's go for it. And then the next minute, you're going to be scrolling on social media, doubting yourself, going, you know, who's even going to listen? Who's even going to buy? I don't even know what I'm doing. And all of this, you're going to have cycles of like confidence up, confidence down, like confidence dips. I want to help you own that identity, not just for a few days, but I want you to step into it and claim it and hold it long term. It's kind of like putting on a new pair of jeans when they've just come out the wash, right? So the identity gap is like you identifying like a hot new pair of jeans, being like, I like those jeans, putting the jeans on. And for the first few hours, you're like, these jeans look really good. But after a little while, you're like, I don't know about the jeans. I don't know if they're a bit uncomfortable. I'm like, just bed them in. Just bed them in. Keep the jeans on. They look good. You know, they might not feel good after a little while. But once you've had them on, like a little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer, they become like a second skin. And they then become your favourite jeans. This is what I want to help you do in the Identity Gap Masterclass. Is not to buy new jeans, but it's to help you to really identify like why it is that you take like 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, why you keep cycling around in shame and a story of failure and self-sabotage, and also the steps that you can take long term that are going to lead you to becoming the woman and being the woman who leads the business that you know you are capable of creating. Because when you do, what that results in is increased visibility. That means like audience growth. It means clients coming in. It means income growing. It means recurring income. It means stability. It means freedom. It's everything that you want. And it's this that I want to talk to you about and show you inside of the Identity Gap Masterclass. So it's a free event that I'm hosting at the end of March. We kick off on the 30th of March. All the details that you need to know are on the link in my bio. I will drop the link to the masterclass in the show notes of the podcast, and I will also drop the details as well on YouTube. So if you are watching this after the 30th, you can still register for the masterclass up until the 1st of April 2026. After that time, the doors will be closed. So if you're catching this then, and it's a bit late, then keep hanging around, because I do host a masterclass now every single month. They're on confidence, they're on manifestation, they're on business, they're on visibility, they're on all sorts of different things. It just depends what I feel like talking about, or, you know, what truth I want to talk about, or how I want to help people this month. But if you want to be part of this masterclass upcoming, it's going to be a live event. It's happening over 3 days. Starting on the 30th of March, like I said. The link to register is in the link in my bio on Instagram and Facebook, or it'll be in the show notes on the podcast and also on my YouTube channel as well. So if you've got any questions, just reach out to me, let me know. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the masterclass. I've already got over, I think there's about 10 women signed up already. So they're joining the group, we're getting the energy going, welcome posts, all the things. So yeah, head to the link in my bio, register for the Identity Gap Masterclass, and yeah, let's take you from where you are now to where you want to be. Making the money, creating stability for yourself, creating a life of freedom. Ultimately, that is the goal. So whatever you're doing for the rest of your day, have a good one. If you haven't subscribed to the things, make sure you subscribe, follow me on the socials, and I'll see and speak to you for next week's podcast on Tuesday. See you later. Bye.